This is not your first time in Amsterdam. How is it to be on this festival?
I'm very happy to be in this festival. My first film was screened here in Roze Filmdagen, and I was here in Amsterdam to do the post-production of sound of the film. So I stayed in the city for 1 month. It was really nice. I work with great professionals, and it's a lovely city to stay, to live, to walk. I love to walk in Amsterdam.
This is a film about São Paulo, the city that I live. The city is the character, one of the main characters of the film. I shot the film in the streets that I really live, and these people that you see in the film, there's stories of people that I cross on the streets, so it's a little bit personal moving somehow. And after the screening, I can say more about that. So enjoy the movie, enjoy this trip to São Paulo, and thank you very much for coming.
Cadê seus pais?
Não sei. Não moro com eles.
Fugiu de casa?
Fugiu não. Eles que fugiram de mim.
Can you tell me, you made a story about a sex worker. Why did you choose this specific profession?
I think that's a very old profession. I think it's very interesting because cinema now is looking for very generous eye to this work. Where I live in São Paulo, downtown of the city, we have a lot of sex workers in the streets, in the clubs, in the saunas, in the cinemas. It's very alive as a place of that, so it's part of my day-to-day life.
I've seen a lot of movies at this festival, and I think there were at least 5 so far that I've seen that involved sex work in one way or another. Apparently it's a theme that really fascinates, and I wonder why it fascinated you.
First, because of cinematography, I have a lot of big films that's part of my life that deals with sex work. Belle de Jour, Buñuel, Happy Together, Wong Kar-wai, the films of Sean Baker. There's a lot of films about sex workers that parts of my cinephilia I'm always watching. And I think in my close circle of people, during the pandemics, I saw a lot of people in Brazil, and when I was also living part of pandemics in Paris, a lot of friends start to work as sex workers.
Your former movie was about factory workers, sex workers.
It's always about work. I think they only look to queer community as thinking about acceptance, tolerance, or love and festivity parties. It's important also to look at work, how these bodies, how these identities can live inside a market, a work market. And I love to think that the first image that we had in cinema was these women workers going out of the factory. And imagine that the cinema was invented to document a factory is something that really touched me. And I like that I can do things about a real factory and also this sex work factory, this consummation of bodies and loves and small, fragile romances. And this is interesting to me.
Deixa eu te apresentar. Esse é o Baby.
Baby. Menino bonito, né, Ronaldo?
Levanta a guarda! Vai, que teu mal está mandando.
Fragile romances in this movie. Can you elaborate? Was it love?
It's difficult to frame this couple. Baby and Ronaldo are the main characters of the film. They are really, really touched by each other. They have a lot of intensity, desire, but they never say I love you during the film. And this is something that touched me a lot. Why we very passionate people can say I love you, can declare our love to another one. And building two characters that had this complication to really dive in the relationship is something that touched me also, because I think that we are living this moment that we are very afraid to demonstrate any romantic feelings, and these characters, they got a little bit stuck in this impossibility.
Ei, ué, o que ele fez tão grave? Ele me humilhou, porra!
The main character gets a lot of horrible things over him, yet he always stays optimistic and happy and positive.
I don't think the things are always horrible, because I think the things are very complex. there's a lot of things involved in the situations. He lives some violence, but as I said, he always resisting to this violence and reacting to this violence. So he gets powerful because he's really young. He's 18 years old, so he's learning how to fight. And sometimes you can look to the situation as a horrible situation, but in this situation he learns a lot and can overcome that situation and be a stronger person.
What is your favorite scene in the movie?
I love the scene of baby with his mother because we wait a lot for his moment that he was going to be back to his mother, and when he got back to his mother, he really understand that this family there, he doesn't belong there, and he has to build himself a family. So this is very important to me. The mother is tender with him, she's open to him, but it's a relationship that unfortunately ended. So he has to himself build another family.
What does he learn in the streets then?
In the streets, he learns to make solidarity bonds with outsiders, because what can help the character is really this outsider solidarity, to find people that is in the same situation that he is, to help him to overcome and survive, so to be open to the difference of the other people, to try to live together even with the differences. I think that's the learning of the streets.
What's the first thing you did after you came here?
In Amsterdam, when I arrived here, I think I rented a bike, and it was terrible because the people ride too fast the bike here, and I'm very slow biker, so